Words and the ideas they contain are the tools of the sorcerer. They are the tools of their craft. They have learned to exert their control without pictures. They have learned the art of controlling the pictures you create in your mind. What is the craft? Some may call it gaslighting. Some may call it twilight language. Some may call it thought reform, or NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. Some may call it MK Ultra, or some may call it by its true name, brainwashing. Pages 3 and 4. The birth of a word. The term brainwashing was born in the crucible of war. Not as one might expect, the Second World War, though it was retrospectively applied to Nazi techniques, but the Korean War. The conflict broke out in 1950 when North Korea, supported by China's communist regime, invaded South Korea, to which the young United Nations then sent a multinational force. The United States, the major participant in this joint effort, soon noticed that something strange was happening to U.S. troops taken captive by the enemy. Some emerged from prisoner of war camps as apparently converted communists, ready to denounce their country of birth and sing the praises of the Maoist way of life. Of course, the phenomenon of prisoners forced to laud their captors was not a new one. But some of these soldiers continued their bizarre and passionate disloyalty even after they were free of the communist grip. Unnerved by their behavior and concerned about potential effects on morale, the U.S. began to investigate what their CIA operative Edward Hunter had in 1950 publicly christened brainwashing. Hunter himself expresses his negative reactions very clearly in describing a victim of the strange new phenomenon. Those who interviewed him were bewildered and horrified not only by what he said, but by the unnatural way in which he said it. His speech seemed impressed on a disc that had to be played from start to finish without modification or halt. He appeared to be under a weird, unnatural compulsion to go on with a whole train of thought from beginning to end, even when it had been rendered silly. For example, he spoke of no force being applied to him even after someone already had pointed out that he had been seen in shackles. He was no longer capable of using free will or adapting himself to a situation for which he had been uninstructed. He had to go on as if manipulated by instincts alone. This was party discipline extended to the mind. A trance element was in it. It gave me a creepy feeling. Hunter. Brainwashing. Shell shock. Combat stress, or as it is now referred to as PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, were at one time byproducts of war. But how can a mind control operation be moved into the realm of civilians? Easy. Let me explain. First, one must understand the art of magic. Not the pulling of a rabbit out of a hat, but the pulling of thoughts and actions out of the mind of millions of people. What is the purpose of this mind control, you may ask? Why would a group of people want to change the minds of millions of people? Well, There are so many reasons, more than can be named here, but for our purposes, they are: 1, guns are still sold on shelves. 2, it is a game to these people. And 3, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. Yes, you heard me correctly. If you cannot measure it, you cannot manage it. If a people are to be managed, and that is exactly what is happening, if a people are to be managed, there must be some way to measure the progress. It is difficult to write and talk about these things clearly. Why? Because most of these techniques in this different reality, there are no words, for this is a secret art. The sorcerer wants people to denounce what they know to be true or real and commit actions they never dreamed they would. This is thought control. This is brainwashing. And until you learn to get over your preconceived ideas about the way things work, though you think you are awake, you are not and will not be awake. You will remain to be just a power source in the matrix. This is magic. Every controlled person has a handler. The handler's job is to be the agent of influence toward a desired goal. The handler is there to whisper in the subject's ear. The handler is there as a safeguard if the subject appears though they are going to veer off the path of the plan. The news media is a type of handler. Handlers can be boyfriends, husbands, secretaries, assistants. They hide in what appear to be banal and innocent positions. In that need, the need to want, lust screams for release. Lust, ladies and gentlemen, lust for everything. And in the sorcerer's workshop, lust is a tool with a great many uses and terrific and terrible results. Lust hides on the fringes of desire. Lust can cause a sane person to denounce what they know to be true, commit actions they never dreamed they would. It is important to realize, ladies and gentlemen, the tools of the sorcerer are between need and want. As a novelist, I am looking for the why, not behind things, but between things. The sorcerer seeks to create the why, behind and between things. In this place between things is what the ancients called the vesica. It is the force that turns dialogue into destiny. The between. When the conscious mind is engaged, the unconscious is pliable toward any subject. And mind control is the great smoke and mirror trick played on the psychic strata of the mind. Access to the subconscious mind is found through the doorway created between heightened states of awareness. For example, a female news anchor showing cleavage and legs causes sexual lust. She then gives horrifying news with accompanying images, causing fear. The doorway opens between the lust and the fear, and the viewer is ready for the insertion of an idea, a thought, a suggestion. It takes no puzzle solver to understand which news networks uses cleavage and the leg chairs. They will show body parts to excite lust, then give news of death, In the dissonance of the mind, I'll say it again, in the dissonance of the mind, the message is hidden. Through the constant watching of any program, words and phrases have been used so often, your mind has been conditioned to accept the definitions given by the anchor. For example, the word discrimination once meant wise choosing. Discrimination comes from the word discern. The goal of magic is to move without touching and to create from thin air. Just look at the present situation with the media repeating the mantra that the right is the party of hate, violence, and bigotry, while that is all that is produced by the left. So I have learned to look between things for the source of what I would call manifestations. This is how I see the sorcerer, by his work. I look for him or her in the between. In poker, what I am looking for is not the tell, but the cause of the tell. That reveals the motives hidden in the fringes. It is there the sorcerer's tracks are found. In vegetation, the between is the seed. In love, it is not desire, but the things in you that cause desire. Not externally, but internally. The things from between. I know it sounds and reads strange, because it is strange. The between. The sorcerer's arena today is not the battlefield of war. It is in entertainment. The between. Entertainment comes from two words. Intra, which means between, and tain, meaning to hold. Q 1646, you have a choice. The choice has always been yours. Power to the people. They want you divided. They want race wars. They want class wars. They want religious wars. They want political wars. They use the media. They use Hollywood. They use political leaders. They are loud. Group think. Public shame against those who challenge. Slavery. They know what is coming. It is now more clear than ever. Never in our history have they been this exposed. Never in our history have they come out from the shadows to fight. The truth is clearly visible. Defend MS-13? Defend the destruction of our borders? Promote the fear of nuclear war if POTUS remains in office? Nuclear alerts malfunction. Compared to Hitler, Nazis? Promote violence. Promote hate, promote war, promote economic decline, promote North Korea to end talks with POTUS, promote impeachment for no reason, promote racism, promote fascism, promotes riots, form Antifa. Violent group designed to instill fear in free speech, hatred for America, sheep following blindly. They are scared. They are losing control. We knew this day would come.